We're just waiting for Neil to join in. All right, so now you have to unmute yourself. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom screen. There's an audio mic.
Okay, did that work?
That worked great. Good.
Okay, that was funny. I had to do something about unblocking or allowing notifications, and then anyhow, something worked properly so that it showed a different option when I was trying to click on you that you were there now or were letting me in. And so, hi, how you doing, Elaine?
I'm good. I'm good. All right,
Good.
so what progress have you made other than updating your Zoom?
Well, a couple of things. Some that were good, some that were not good. Uh, I got up both my laptops today and installed Audacity on the other one that I wasn't using much, thinking, well, let's see if it'll work there. It wouldn't work there either. It gave me the same error message about what was not loaded. Which DLL file. I went and did some searching on the internet for it and found out which version of it was going to be the right one that I needed to update to Microsoft. Anyhow, I got various messages and tech support options, but just a second, I'm going to let a cat out so he doesn't make too much noise. Okay. Anyhow, I wasn't able to actually get the download to get it installed on my computer, either from the Microsoft Update website. One computer was having issues with uh, said it was having issues with my antivirus or malware software. Tried to allow it to let it work there. I finally decided, I'm not going to be using probably the other computer. I needed to be on the computer I'm on now. So I decided I wasn't going to be able to solve for this moment the Audacity software issue after spending a good part of an hour this morning trying to get either or both computers up with the right plugin that would let Audacity run or would not give me the error message from my iTunes account. I did go back into, oh, also, the reason I decided I definitely want to use my computer that has all my files on it, my bigger screen and so forth, the one that I regularly use, it's because I actually have an Office product, a legitimate Office software version that I had loaded on years ago from a different, I forget where, from a different source, but I had legally bought it and was able to prove that they could let me run it. And so it's up and running. I've got Excel running on my computer that I'm using now. When I tried to run the Office 2010 version on my sort of backup or second computer that I don't use, the smaller, lightweight version, that one said, oh, the software is loaded, but it was the preloaded version, the trial software that came with the computer, but it wasn't actually licensed. So they either wanted me to buy it, license it, get a new version, whatever. And I said, okay, well, that's not happening today either. So I'm on the computer that at least has all my music files and had my own spreadsheet version of a show. I'd been put in a show or two before to try and create a version, the one where I said it's not neat or it wasn't in Excel. But so now they got Excel open. I created the Excel spreadsheet with the tabs you had suggested for, with tabs across the top for artist, song, album, time, label, and year. And then I started copying and pasting in some of the stuff that I had from my simple, I would say notepad, but actually it was ended up being WordPad that I was using. But when I went to open that file on this computer, it opened it in Word, but as a compatibility mode, some way for it to open this other file that I had in a simple text editor or a rich text. I don't remember. Word in RTF, a rich text format, which was where I had somehow either saved it or transferred it. So anyhow, I got that open, got a spreadsheet open, started plugging in the song titles and stuff, and then and actually I should say I started after I gave up on updating software an hour ago, and said, well, let's get something up so I'm ready for my meeting with you. So then I got the Excel open, started creating the files, copying and pasting, and then I was watching your videos or letting your videos run again in the background. So I was hearing your first four videos that got me up finally to where, okay, here it was, disc cogs. So then I've got disc cogs open and actually tried to run a few. I've already done enough with it to realize that, oh, it may or may not yield the right information I want, depending on what it's got to look for. So, like uh, trying to go with Haunauna Pollyanna didn't initially work for me until I realized, oh, I did have the name of the album that it had come from. Found that album, found that, where Ono was from, originally from a cassette or LP, or originally from, anyhow. So I'd find that and I'd go in and I'd put in some of my Willie K stuff and verify different releases. Or, for me, I should say I already had things like artist name, song name, length of time, album name, but I didn't have the label that you had said, we had to have the label info. And so that led to a few interesting scenarios where, let me just look at one for a minute. And by the way, I don't know uh, when I open my Excel spreadsheet, I can still see you fine. I'm just going to move this thing with you to my upper left corner and
All
see.
right. So, Neil, in a
Yeah.
moment, I will have you share your screen and I'll walk you through how to do that so that I
Okay.
can see what you've created. Congratulations on getting all of those steps done. That's great.
When you say you can see what I've created, are you able to see the Excel
Not,
spreadsheet?
there is a capability within Zoom that I can
When,
see your screen, but we're not
oh,
going to do that quite yet. I'm just letting
oh,
you
okay.
know that I'm going to walk you through how to do that so that
Okay.
I can see your Zoom screen.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. And so I was just going to finish my lengthy intro. And by the way, thanks for your patience. I got to click something else because I can't see you anymore. Let me go back to add Zoom. And then,
So at the bottom of your computer screen,
yeah, I was just going to say, so I found things like Jeff Peterson. When I put him in, I couldn't get the right Jeff Peterson. And they had four different versions in Discogs, and I tried putting in like the album title, couldn't get that. Anyhow, but so at least I'm partially there. I've got a spreadsheet and
yes,
have some stuff in it. So go ahead. You
that's
talked a lot.
that's good.
You say.
Yeah, so Discogs is a great resource, but it isn't the only thing I use because they don't have everything,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but they
Uh,
had a lot. I
they
was
have,
surprised they had a lot.
I would say they've got 85% of what I need, sometimes maybe
Oh,
even 90%. But
okay.
for the other, then there's other resources that you can access that we'll talk about today to get that information. One of the resources is Amazon. So sometimes you can find that record available on Amazon and you can get uh, some limited data off of that. When they list a album for sale, it's all not always, but mostly, I would say more than 50% of the time, it's a secondary label, meaning they they published it on an original label,
Okay.
maybe Mountain Apple, for example,
Right.
and then somebody else bought it off of them. And now it's listed as CD Baby. Well, if you yeah, I will go and research more website resources if I can to find the actual label because I know CD Baby is not.
Yeah,
It's a
I know. I heard in
secondary company.
one of your videos you mentioned that you could use it, but they're often using secondary or tertiary copies bought from
Exactly.
somebody
And
else.
sometimes you're forced to put in CD Baby,
Yeah,
and you just do your best.
yeah,
Spinitron, which is we may or may not discuss that today. That is the live stream playlist available on the website and
yeah.
through the KBCS app that shows what's playing now. Now, when you enter data as a DJ, you're going to enter data into Spinitron to create that playlist. Well, there's a function where it has a search engine on its own, and sometimes you can find the label there,
Okay.
and sometimes not. It's not 100%. You can go to the artist's website if they have one, or you can just do a search for, Jeff Peterson, and then you can say Maui on My Mind album, and
Yeah.
then see what pops up. And sometimes you can find the label that way.
Well, and this one might have been different because the one I was actually searching for was Jeff Peterson and Riley Lee. The two of them together put out an album. And so I
Yes.
realized later that might have been, but I didn't find, even Jeff Peterson wise, I didn't find
Yeah.
anything by him on Discogs of his, dozen albums I must have or something. But
Right.
does this software, when we're voting later, when we are exporting or copying the spreadsheet into the Spinitron thing, does it have to be exact to the like uppercase, lowercase, or spelling or spacing? Some things are very finicky with computers about how you input data, like if you have a extra
No,
space or at the end of a word or
it's not finicky, but you should type it in correctly because that's how it will show up.
yeah. Well, I'm at, like, as an example, one of the ones I had was I had recorded it because the name on the CD cover that I knew I had and the way it showed on my iTunes was something like Live in Tahiti, Come On Over was the title that I had put it under. But when I had looked up Hui Ohana on Discogs and found, said, okay, show me. They had like 10 albums, 10 regular releases, but those weren't any of the ones that I wanted. I wanted either Magic Islands or I wanted this live from Tahiti, Come On Over. So I said, okay, show me all the 21 releases, looked at the 21 releases and found the original like vinyl album release and then found the thing when they put it out with the CD and they didn't call it what my title had been before, which was the come whatever I had said before. I didn't change it on my uh, thing here. I had it. Oh, maybe I did already change it. Oh, okay. I had it as Hui Ohana live in Tahiti. Come on over, and I had put in parentheses it was from 1998. And then when I looked it up on Discogs and found, okay, if I went for they had the one version that I knew wasn't mine. Then they had the version that was the CD. Okay, that's mine. And then they called it just Tahiti, Come On Over. So I already changed the name of the album in my Excel spreadsheet to be what Discog showed it as.
Mm,
So, and that's the sort of thing I wonder where, okay, even though I had, in a sense, more information, it might have worked in a search engine, but it wasn't what the way that they were calling the album. So they just called the album
yes.
Tahiti, Come
Yes.
On Over.
I've run across that once or twice, not too often in the 11 years I've been doing this.
Okay.
So, if you've got the actual album in your hot little hands, I would just put in the title that's on the album. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other odd thing on that one, I had written down when in my notes that it came, or either in my notes, maybe I should rephrase that. My notes when I searched on my iTunes, which is not always accurate on the phone as compared to my laptop, where I had actually stored all the original soundtracks, audio tracks. So I'm on my phone looking for it. It had said it was 1998, and yet the year that they showed it coming out on Discogs was 1994. So I think that one I plugged in 94. And I had one of the similar thing, but the opposite, where one of the, uh, anyhow, in one of the Willie K things or something, where so they were showing a different year that was like 4 years earlier than what I had. I'm now I've already, because I already made the corrections in my Excel spreadsheet, I can't give it the literal remembering of, oh, which one was it that went which way, which was sooner or later. But I know, like on my Willie K, Spirits in the Wind from the Shower of Hits, I had it as 1995. And so I might have put it in as the year was 1995, even though Discogs showed it as 1998 or something. So
Yeah. And
They
so
showed
you've
in
run
the,
across a frustration of mine as well. So I'm going to share my screen. So you're going to see,
okay.
I've got Discogs up. You were talking about that Hui Ohana. So let's just
And
look at that.
I'm gonna make you bigger again.
So now
Uh-oh.
I,
It says Zoom quit unexpectedly. Generate a crash report to help Zoom solve the problem. So when you started sharing your screen, I got a black screen saying you started screen sharing, and then Zoom sent me a message that they've crashed Zoom and described what happened to send it to Zoom. Now, are you still hearing me and seeing me?
yes, I can hear and see you fine, Neil.
Okay. So I'm not going to send the Zoom crash report. I'm going to say don't send because I'm still seeing you. And I'm going to
Okay.
try and expand this window, which I had made smaller. Well, yeah, so it's not, uh-oh. Now it's blacked out at the top too. It says I'm viewing your screen, but now
Can
I
you
don't see,
see Discogs up
oh,
on
I
my
see
screen?
nothing. So and in my process of me resizing my screen, it now went blank. And I'm now seeing not me, not you. Oh, there you're back.
I stopped sharing.
Huh. Okay, well, now I see you. And I got another Zoom.
So you're freezing. So I don't know if it's your internet connection. And I can no longer hear you. So if you can hear me, I suggest you log off of Zoom and rejoin the meeting. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for Neil, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. This is all being recorded. So to address that issue, let me stop sharing for a moment. All right, so I'm going to continue on. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do the Hui Ohana. So when you type in an artist, it often the first choice is simply an artist. And okay, Neil. So Neil continues to have connectivity issues. So I'm going to end this meeting and restart it.